Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Today we have an inspirational and moving story of how a Vermont town came together to build a veterans memorial that was 5 years in the making. To begin, here's Channel 3's Rose Spillman, who was at the dedication earlier this month.
Jim Donaldson is a World War II veteran from Shelburne. He says when the community got together to honor local veterans with a memorial, he wanted to have something to remember his father, who also served in the war.
My daughters purchased a brick for me, and I purchased a brick for my father. He's buried in Arlington, so this way we could be together.
Donaldson and his father's names are among over 300 engraved on bricks surrounding the new Shelburne Veterans Memorial. On Sunday, community members gathered for an official dedication ceremony.
So we've seen it all, and we've seen young mothers bring their children in here, and the kids kneel down and kiss the brick, because they wanted to. So, and a lot of tears and a lot of joy because it was something real.
The Norwich University Band, along with various musicians, played patriotic tunes at the ceremony where multiple military and veteran officials spoke. A committee of veterans and locals helped plan for the memorial over the past 5 years.
We had 3 areas to concentrate on: the memorial itself, ceremony, the actual building and maintenance of the monument, and then an outreach committee into the community.
Town Clerk Colleen Hegg helped start the project, and she says Sunday's ceremony was a huge success.
I just can't get over the amount of people and the community building that this memorial monument has done for our community of Shelburne.
The committee raised over $100,000 through fundraisers and brick sales over the past few years, all of which paid for the memorial.
People like Donaldson purchased the bricks with personal engravements. The bricks surround the star-shaped monument that is engraved with the names of different wars and plaques representing various military services.
I think this is going to find its way back into the schools and what it means about freedom, that it's not free, and that they should be thankful for what we have in this country, because there's nothing like it anywhere else in the world.
Donaldson says he hopes the monument will have a lasting impact across the community. Rose Spillman, Channel 3 News, Shelburne.
Well, thank you, Rose. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mike Lynch. Mike served as co-chair of the Shelburne Veterans Memorial Committee. He's an engineer, and he served in Vietnam as a CB with the U.S. Navy. Mike, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Judy.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired the creation of this memorial.
Well, around the country, communities were beginning to recognize veterans, and some local communities had built monuments, etc. And we thought Shelburne needed one. Shelburne had a couple of plaques from World War I, World War II on buildings, but no central monument of any kind. So we thought it would be a good thing to start working on it. And the town had received an anonymous donation to give us seed money to start their process.
And so how did the physical structure move from plans on paper to the monument that we see now?
Well, the first thing we had to do was find a place to put it. And that took the town boards, the planning boards, and they did some master planning, came up with a good location, which is where it is now. And once we had a location, then we put together some criteria that defined what we wanted generally. We wanted some kind of central piece with a brick paving around it so we could have the bricks have names on them. Mm-hmm. That was one of our things that we wanted to have. And then landscaping. We wanted it to be comfortable and attractive and long-lasting. And then we had to raise the money. So we went out and went into a program for about a year to raise the money, and it was very successful. We were surprised at how quickly it came. Mm-hmm. One, we sold some bricks, but also we just went out for donations. And with that, we then hired an architect. They did a design, And then we started the construction process. And one of the things we had to do was buy the granite ahead of time, because the granite took a long time to get. And we arranged with a company in Barry Corporation of Granite Corporation of Barry, and they helped us. And then they had us come over in April and watch them cut the stone, which was very interesting, because the pieces, they're big pieces of granite. The star is made up of 5 pieces. And that was a very interesting process and nice to do. Gave us a feeling that it was going to get built.
Yeah,
really built.
absolutely.
And once that was done, we hired the other contractors and they built it. We also had to put together a process that Jim Donaldson primarily led, which was how to take the names and convert them into bricks. We originally thought we'd maybe have 100 bricks. We turned out to have more than 360 bricks, and we're still getting applications, and we will add more next spring. So it's hard to get all that information on one brick. And we figured out how to do that, and I've had a process to do that. Had them engraved individually and then placed them. And the second, and all of the subsequent installation of bricks we're doing ourselves rather than the contractor.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, we're going to take a few minutes now to go back to the Shelburne Parade Grounds for more of the ceremony from this month's dedication of the Veterans Memorial.
Raise the flag.
Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a proud moment in our town's history. Today, the town of Shelburne not only thanks and honors our veterans for their service, we also dedicate a particular place to recognize and remember those who have served our country in times of war and in times of peace. Today, I ask you to look around. We stand in the midst of patriots and families and friends of those who have so nobly served our country.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so...
I've come here early today and just absolutely humbled beyond the extent of your imagination of the people I've met here today. However, in preparation for this task, from the day that Bud asked me to be part of it, it's truly opened my eyes, my mind, and my heart to ensure that veterans like here today receive the respect that they deserve, because without them, we would not be here today and sharing a special moment together.
And the home of the brave.
I'm sure that within many of you there is a little tear in your eye because taps, I'm not an emotional individual normally, but taps usually does something to me when I hear it, and I've heard it several times over my lifetime, several times in my career in the Army at various and sundry things. Unfortunately, many were funerals. And so I think probably for all of those who are here, I hope that maybe it has affected you somewhat, that it has affected me, that we all have a little tear in our eye for what has happened. I have nothing further than again and again and again to thank all of you for being here today to help us celebrate our Veterans Memorial. Thank you very, very much, and the rain stayed away. Appreciate you being here, folks. Thank you.
Well, that was really inspiring. Thanks to Lynn Jarvis and Marco Ayala for their photography and editing work. If you're just joining us, our focus is on the newly dedicated Veterans Memorial in Shelburne. With us now is another veteran who served on the Memorial Planning Committee. I want to welcome Perry Melvin. Perry is president of the State Council of Vietnam Veterans who served in the U.S. Navy. Thanks so much for coming in.
Well, thank you.
And so tell me a little bit about your experiences on the dedication day that was a little earlier this month.
My involvement primarily was helping to raise funds and also some of the media involvement. We were very fortunate. Our local paper, the Shelburne News, we just went overboard for us. Everything and anything we wanted, they put in, and they helped us with that. In terms of fundraising, it was fantastic. The community just came together in terms of those that gave major gifts and those who came in, whether it was canisters we put out or talking to them. We're willing to make a donation every day or Saturday that we were at the farmer's market with our little canister there. People would come up and put money in there, and we collected quite a bit. People reached out, and this community took real pride in helping to make this monument come to fruition.
And what does the memorial mean to veterans?
I think it's a really unifying project that represents all the veterans, not just one veteran or one particular conflict or war. So it's a place that our veterans can come, they can reflect in private, they can come with family, and it's not just the monument as you approach it, but I think as they come in and they look at those bricks, it becomes a memorial to themselves, to a family member they may see there, and that's true for the family members that come. So it's a special place that's there for our veterans at any point in time, not just our veterans in Shelburne, but any veteran that comes by. They can come in there and have that same experience.
And how about for you, Mike?
It's a place to think and contemplate and just sit, and it's pleasant. It does help people, and I think it's important to families. It's not just the veterans themselves, but families. We've noticed that with a lot of people. Some of these, the bricks, the people aren't alive, haven't been alive in quite some time, but the family wanted to put the brick there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of it too. You know, you talked too about the fact that it was 5 years in the making and the planning, but this is something that's going to be in the community forever. Yeah, for a very long time. And so maybe you could tell me a little bit about the presence of the new memorial and the impact on the greater community. Well, we've had a lot of interest, and people have come and said things, especially the farmers market. Mm-hmm. By using having it there with the farmers market has been a big help for fundraising, but it's also brought it out to the community. It's amazing what happens on a farmers market day. People come, and how many of them are not from here? It's a surprise as to people from all over the country have stopped for the farmers market, but then they come and they see the memorial, and they've come back and talked to us about it. It's amazing. Yeah. So it's almost like the heart of the community. And now, yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today to talk about it, and thank you also for your work for getting the memorial to where it is today. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.